Actually, I began my career, I was in charge of research for Chevron Corporation out in California. I left and went to Austin during the dot-com era, ran a small software company there. My name's Zycor, became part of Landmark Graphics, and I became CEO at Landmark. And then we sold Landmark to Halliburton. I ended up CEO of Halliburton. I couldn't find anybody to sell Halliburton to, so I left and took over Paradigm with some other shareholders, and I'm excited to be there. Being part of Halliburton, you have competitors start your car for you. You gotta have some fun with yourself. Paradigm is actually an absolutely wonderful company. It's a great research company, and we only do software in the oil and gas industry. And we're absolutely aligned with customers. Our goal is to make it the most affordable to produce at the least possible cost. What we want to do is drive the cost of hydrocarbons down. Now, what I brought to Paradigm was a love for companies that size. I've managed companies of 10 people up to companies of 44,000 people, so I'm just going to give you observations on the differences between the two. When you're in a really large company, I think size is not in your best interest. It causes inertia. You end up with departments and you have difficulty with collaboration. You find that you have to have special projects, or you say things like, we have a game changer effort, or we're going to do this, we're going to do that. Normally, if you've gotten a group together and they say we need a game changer effort, that means that your company's not changing the game. So I can almost find every company with difficulties by the fact they're telling me they're innovative or they're changing the game. The second thing that happens when you're in a large company is you have overwhelming focus on retaining market share. And you become extremely cost-focused, which is another way of saying short-term. Your only goal is to meet shareholder expectations on every 90 days. And this becomes a driver. It makes it very difficult to invest in the long term. And innovation and creativity is about long-term investment. It's about risk takers that look at something and see the potential for it and are willing to stay in something for periods long in excess of what many companies have a tolerance for. Some of the greatest ideas are entrepreneurs that have had to sell their furniture on the lawn in order to be able to continue their idea until it was delivered. And for those people, our country, our economy owes a great deal of debt, because that's the dedication that requires to take a brilliance in a new idea and make it possible. Leadership in companies, large companies. I'm absolutely probably the most jaded person when it comes to leadership. I've worked for some of the worst that you can imagine. And as a result of it, I look at it and I go, how do you destroy creativity in a company? Well, you place someone in charge of the company that has no appreciation for creativity, or a modicum of support for it, where it's more of a placating type of remarks. And so that has really fluxumed me over the past. I've never been so perplexed when you find that you can't get them to come to meetings where you're talking about the future. You can't get them to participate in innovation. If you want to have a successful culture, you have to have the CEO as a part of that culture, no matter how large the company it is. And it can't just be something where they attend an event once a year. It's something where they have to be passionate about the recreation of your organization. Now, how do you get passionate about that as a CEO? I think it's difficult if you don't understand the industry, and that's one of the other problems that I think I'll point at all industries and say, we've placed people in charge of companies that understand Sarbanes-Oxley and financial reporting and compliance, but many companies no longer have people at the helms that actually understand what created the company and what the core of that company was with regard to technology and passion for making a difference. So why did they invite me to be here? I guess it's because I'm using incentive. And so why are we doing that? Why are we collaborating? Why are we looking externally? And it's because we're a company of about 1,000 people, and we are considered the leader in the oil and gas industry in research and technology, and we want to stay that way. And to stay that way means changing the culture now and making sure that we maintain that leadership. And so your biggest fear in a company is losing that culture. Now, interestingly, I've gone into companies and I fired nearly everyone in those companies and hired from scratch and had the same culture when I was done. Okay? You're laughing. You should take notes on this if any of you end up being CEO, because it turns out that the processes in a company drive much of the culture. And if you don't destroy the processes when you get rid of the people, you can recreate a non-creative environment by not addressing the fundamental processes of a company. So for those of you that are looking at your companies, I'd encourage you to look at those processes. I looked at the process inside of paradigm, and I looked at the oil and gas industry, at the total strategic situation of it, and we're an industry that has lost a tremendous number of resources over the last 25 years. And we're out trying to actively get people to come into this industry while you're out telling them that we should get out of this business. So it's an exciting opportunity for us to be engaging people that you're trying to get to go other places. But we're going to have to transition from hydrocarbons, and we need great breakthrough where we do the minimum environmental damage, that we produce it at a cost that's affordable so that GDPs can be supported over the next 20 years. So we're investing there. So how do you do that? Well, we need external pressure to keep us creative. And so I know. And so you really have to have an activity inside of your company that focuses on how do I get to things that would make a core difference in my company if I received a solution. But the piece that's really been great for me is the cultural element, which is after we went external using incentive, that internally I noticed immediately friction. And at first it's that you think of it and articulate it as not invented here, but it's actually competition. And your own internal folks look at that competition and they get really excited about that competition. Because the other piece that makes a company great is the quality of the people that you have, and they have to be competitive. They have to want to be the best. They have to want to do something that makes a difference. They have a passion for reducing the cost of hydrocarbons through breakthrough technology. And we're very fortunate to have those kind of people in the company, and they're excited about that. And their focus has been elevated a lot by thinking that they have to compete for dollars to do their research work with external components. So we have the beauty of the external environment and the friction and competition that's necessary to keep the internal environment healthy. And I think we're looking at the overall culture to sustain that long term, and we're quite excited about that.